HR Office Savers brings you a quick video on problem solving in our soft skills series. And like all of our HR trainings, this can support both your work life and your outside work life. No matter what your industry or your role, problem solving is part of your job. Whether the problems you encounter are big or small, you solve problems every day. Learning how to apply problem-solving skills helps not only to enhance productivity, but also helps to cultivate relationships by focusing on shared goals and solutions. Albert Einstein is quoted as saying, "It's not that I'm so smart, it's just that I stay with problems longer." We will be investigating 5 steps to problem solving. 1. Define the problem. 2. Brainstorm solutions. 3. Make plans and evaluate. 4. Implement the plan. And 5. Reevaluate to determine how well the plan is working. As we look at each of these steps, consider the problems that you may be facing right now and apply these steps to help you in finding actionable solutions that will make a positive difference for you and your organization. You can't solve a problem if you don't know what it is. The first step in solving any problem should be to define the problem itself. Oftentimes, what we think is a problem is only a symptom of a larger issue. Take time to define the problem clearly, whether it's an interpersonal conflict or a hitch in a supply line. Figuring out what the problem is exactly and clearly defining it means you can move forward with solutions. Solutions that will actually work and get the problem solved, rather than just resolve the symptoms or temporarily stop the chaos. Taking time to define the problem is especially important if emotions are running high or interactions are getting heated. It puts the focus back on shared goals and allows for everyone to be heard. Now it's your turn to apply this to your situation. What current problem or problems are you facing in your workplace? Before immediately moving on to solutions, take the time to define it and then write it down. Once you've defined a problem, you can move on to solutions. It's important not to just choose the first solution that presents itself, nor should you push your own preferred solution to the exclusion of others. Instead, take the time to generate alternative solutions. Ask the others involved what ideas they have for solving the problem. Discuss the ways in which the alternative solutions might play out, problems they might encounter, and how any obstacles can be overcome. Apply active listening and clear communication throughout. Once you've asked others, then discussed, generate alternative solutions with a group and talk about which one or ones you would all like to move forward with. Now it's your turn. Take a moment and jot down 2 alternative solutions to the problem or problems you identified earlier. But don't just stop there with your ideas. Make a list of some colleagues that can weigh in on the solution generating process. Plan to share the defined problem with them and schedule a time to meet and brainstorm solutions together. With your list of alternative solutions generated, it's time to make plans and evaluate them. Give all alternative solutions equally fair treatment. Ask the group to brainstorm potential benefits to each alternative solution or plan. Then work with the group to anticipate potential problems or obstacles with each plan. Based on these discussions, evaluate which plan or plans seem to offer the greatest benefit with the fewest drawbacks. Also consider whether the necessary resources, people, time, materials, or funding are available for each proposed plan. As the plans are evaluated, it will become clear which are entirely unworkable. Narrow the list until the most workable plans are found. Once the most workable plan has been chosen, it's time to implement it. It's important to communicate clearly about how the plan will be implemented, what each person's role will be, and what the goals and expected outcomes are. The other soft skills you are developing, communication and teamwork, are vital here. People must feel as though they are part of the solution if you want them to buy into it. Also provide a timeline for the plan, including the point at which the plan will be re-evaluated. Re-evaluation of the plan is a step that often gets missed. Sometimes what appears to be the most workable plan on paper does not play out when put into action. It is important to take the time to reevaluate the plan once it has been implemented so you can gauge how well it's working. Depending on the results, you may need to make some changes to the plan or implement a new plan altogether. Reevaluation helps to determine whether the original plan has, in fact, been solved. Consider this case study. Tom liked to be known as the fix-it guy. He prided himself on the ability to swoop in and resolve a crisis, and his coworkers appreciated his ability to quickly put an end to chaos or stop a situation from escalating. But he noticed that he seemed to put the same fires out over and over. He could help solve a problem in the short term, but ultimately the same things kept coming up. His colleague in another department, Ashley, asked Tom what his process was for solving problems. Tom couldn't really tell her, but he said he just looked for the most pressing need and took care of it. Ashley suggested that he get his team together and brainstorm a list of their most common problems. They could then identify the underlying issues and create plans to solve them permanently, rather than just managing crisis after crisis as each came up. Tom thought this sounded like a good idea. When he got his team together, Tom realized that many of the crises in the team were caused by a lack of communication and a lack of clear goals. He and his team brainstormed ways to create clearer, more open communication and expectations around goals and roles in their work. Within a few weeks, Tom noticed that he did not have to manage nearly as many crises. Does this sound like you? Are you putting out fires left and right and not sure why problems aren't being solved with permanent solutions? Consider the 5 steps to problem solving that we've talked about in this video. Defining the problem, brainstorming solutions, making plans and evaluating, implementing the plan, and re-evaluating to determine how well the plan is working. How can you apply these steps to your current problem or problems in your workplace, department, or organization? Think about what you've learned. What were your biggest takeaways? Consider sharing what you've learned with a colleague or teammate to actuate the application of this session. This video on problem solving in the workplace was brought to you by HR Office Savers, your independent human resource consulting firm that supports small local businesses and individuals with their human resource needs, including HR compliance, soft skills training, and job search support. Visit us today at hrofficesavers.com.